Welcome to this episode of the Neurokrish Immersion, which has the evocative theme laughter, tears, and music, the neuroscience of human life. This is our little deep dive into the whole speciality and evolving field of neuroaesthetics, but from a particular lens or window. Now let's ask ourselves, why do we laugh? Laughter bridges distance, dissolves tension, and binds groups through shared joy. It's universal, social glue that transcends language barriers. Why do we cry on the other hand? Crying accompanies birth, love, grief, loss, and death. We shed both sad and happy tears. It's one of our deepest biological signatures, and tears mark the moments that define us as human. And what did we have before language? Before language, we had sound, rhythm, and melody that carried emotion between humans before speech even existed. Music predates words in our evolutionary story. These three phenomena, laughter, crying, and music, arise from the same deep neural soil, and this indeed is part of the human paradox. Now, why do humans cry at tragedy? We possess a remarkable paradox. We avoid pain in real life, but actively seek it in art. This isn't just a design flaw in us. It's a feature of our evolved emotional architecture. Emotional crying has an evolutionary purpose. It evolved as a social signal of vulnerability and bonding. It communicates distress and elicits care from others, strengthening social connections. Tragedy and sad music activate our grief circuits without real danger or being present. And this allows emotional learning and compassion development. In a one way, we practice feeling without risk. In sorrow, we find meaning, connection, and shared humanity. The tears we shed for fictional characters expand our capacity for real empathy. Let's now consider the architecture of sound. It was pre-linguistic in that rhythm and melody existed, as we just said, before spoken words. Our ancestors communicated through sound long before they developed a complex grammar. Music also is universal. It's found in every human culture across all time. No society has ever been discovered without music. It's as fundamental as language itself. Music is embodied. It's felt in the body through movement and rhythm. It isn't just heard, it's experienced through our entire physical being. Music offers neural technology for group bonding. Shared musical experiences synchronize our brains and strengthen community ties. The human brain, therefore, is a musical brain before it is a linguistic brain. Music in your brain is distributed. It doesn't live in one place. It illuminates a vast network spanning multiple regions, each contributing to the rich experience of sound. The temporal lobes, for example, which are right beneath your ears, are involved in sound processing and auditory perception. These regions decode the fundamental elements of music: pitch, timbre, and melody. The basal ganglia and cerebellum are involved in rhythm and movement coordination. Your brain's metronome keeps the beat and coordinates your body's response to music. Most of us tap or clap or move unconsciously to music. The limbic structures, which are associated with our temporal lobes, are involved in emotional processing and memory. In many of our podcasts, we talk about the amygdala and the hippocampus, which are key structures in our emotional brain. The amygdala is the center of human emotion, the hippocampus is the center of memory, and the two are neighbors. They exist very close to one another. They give music its power to move us and to trigger vivid memories. Please remember, emotion hugely influences how memories are shaped and formed and stored. And then, of course, you have the frontal reward circuits. They give it pleasure and meaning. Dopamine floods these regions when music delivers the spine-tingling moment of resolution. While language describes emotion, music creates emotion directly. In dementia, for example, people may forget their identities. Indeed, we often say that dementia has a fate worse than death because I may even forget in the terminal stage who I am, and what could be more tragic than that? But even a person in that stage may still remember songs. This remarkable phenomenon reveals music's privileged place in our neural architecture. When other memories fade, musical memories persist. So, emotional memory ensures that feelings are preserved, motor memory ensures that movements are intact, and procedural memory ensures that skills are maintained. Songs become autobiographical portals that recreate the self in time. In the Indic tradition, we have the whole evolution of raga, rasa, and the architecture of emotion. Indian aesthetic science recognized that emotion has structure. The rasa theory describes the systematic evocation of emotion through sound, mapping 9 essential emotional states to specific musical patterns. And what we know in modern neuroscience is that different emotional states correspond to distinct neural network configurations. The brain's architecture mirrors musical architecture. Both are systems of organized patterns creating meaning. Emotion is not random, it follows patterns. Science confirms ancient intuition. And a raga is not merely a scale, it's a temporal emotional architecture that unfolds through time, guiding the listener through a carefully crafted journey of feeling. One of neuroscience's deepest puzzles is the binding problem. How do distributed brain processes unify into a single conscious experience? And indeed here, music may hold the key to the binding of consciousness. Natural oscillations align through rhythmic patterns, creating a synchronized activity across distant brain regions. Rhythm causes entrainment to happen in our brain. Distinct brain networks communicate in sync, allowing information to flow seamlessly between regions, what we call phase coherence. And through entrainment and phase coherence, music organizes consciousness itself. One wonders, and we are puzzled. We typically avoid sadness, but we choose to listen to melancholy in music. Why does sad music feel good? This paradox reveals a sophisticated emotional machinery at work in our brains. There is prediction and anticipation when we are listening to music. The dopamine release happens before emotional resolution arrives, rewarding our brain for accurate pattern reading. We are able to experience empathy without threat. We feel what with others and what others feel while maintaining a safe distance from actual harm or loss. There is predictive pleasure. The brain rewards itself for accurate pattern matching and emotional anticipation. And there is memory activation. Personal experiences resonate with musical narratives, creating rich emotional landscapes. Meaningful sadness without danger is the paradox of aesthetic emotion. Music also leads to empathy and collective synchrony. When we listen to music together, something remarkable happens. Our brains begin to synchronize, creating a shared neural experience that transcends individual consciousness. Watching a musician activates the observer's motor system. We internally start to simulate their performance. Your brain rehearses the movements even when you're sitting still, creating a deep sense of connection, and for this we use what we call the mirror neuron network. What also seems to happen is a neural synchrony. Audiences synchronize emotionally and neurally during shared musical experiences. Brain scans reveal that listeners' neural patterns begin to align during concerts and communal singing. Music thus binds not only brain regions, it binds us as human beings. Musical empathy operates through multiple neural pathways, creating a cascade of social and emotional connections that strengthen human bonds. Mirror neurons activate when we are watching musicians perform, the observation stage. The motor cortex internally rehearses the observed movements, what we call the simulation stage. The limbic system generates corresponding emotional states, the emotion stage. Neural patterns start to align with other listeners, the synchrony stage. The therapeutic applications, therefore, of music experience are expanding rapidly, offering new hope for conditions that have long resisted traditional treatments. So music has a huge role to play in healing, and there is a neuroscientific explanation for this. In Parkinson's disease, rhythm aids motor control, helping patients overcome freezing episodes and to improve their gait. In stroke recovery, melodic intonation therapy helps patients regain speech by engaging intact musical pathways. In depression, music supports emotional regulation and activates reward circuits which are diminished by depression. In dementia, which we already spoke about, musical memory preservation provides access to identify when other memories have faded. And here I must relate the story of a lady with dementia who's very fond of Krishna bhajans. And all we had to do to, even though she could not speak, what she could continue to do was sing Krishna bhajans. She also had a problem of walking, what was called gait apraxia. And all we had to do was to draw Krishna's feet, as you do in Krishna Jayanti, and get her to follow the feet of Krishna from one room in her house to the other. So two cues, the feet of Krishna, the visual cue, and Krishna bhajans, the auditory cue, helped a lady who could not speak and who could not move sing and move. And this is personal experience from the practice that we have. There are a number of things that music neuroscience is offering us in terms of future technology. Understanding individual emotional response to music through advanced brain imaging, we are learning to read the unique musical fingerprint of each person's brain, what's called neural decoding. Measuring collective brain synchrony in real time during shared musical experiences, the technology is able to reveal to us how groups think and feel as one, what we call hyperscanning. And personalized music for healing, adapted in real time to individual neural responses, is possible today, and the future of music therapy will be precisely tailored to each brain. Indeed, you may well think of AI therapeutic soundscapes. Yet, the deepest mystery remains. Why does sound move us so profoundly? Music therapies are gradually moving from experimental to the mainstream, and there is robust evidence today in a range of conditions: Parkinson's motor control, stroke speech recovery, dementia memory access, depression symptoms, anxiety reduction, that they bring about a 50 to 60% improvement in clinical outcomes. And this comes from clinical trials and therefore reveals the music's powerful therapeutic potential across neurological and psychiatric conditions. Despite our growing understanding of music's neural mechanisms, we stand before an enduring mystery. Science can map the pathways, identify the neurotransmitters, and measure the synchrony, but the essential question remains unanswered. Why does organized sound have such a profound power over the human soul? Perhaps the answer lies not in reducing music to circuits and chemicals, but in recognizing that we are musical beings in our very essence. Music isn't something added to human nature. It's woven into our fundamental structure as human beings. Before language, there was sound. Our ancestors communicated through rhythm and melody tens of thousands of years before the first words were spoken. The musical brain predates the linguistic brain in our evolutionary history. Before narrative, there was rhythm. The first rhythm we ever knew was our mother's heartbeat in the womb. From that primal pulse, all musical experience flows. Rhythm organizes time, creates expectation, and structures consciousness itself. The brain you bring to music is the brain that music helped to create. Music didn't just find a place in an already formed human brain. Music shaped the evolution of that brain, sculpting neural pathways over millennia of human experience. Our capacity for language, for abstract thought, for emotional regulation, all may owe their existence in part to our musical ancestors who sang before they spoke. In summary, therefore, we do not merely listen to music, we become it. And in this way, I hope we understand how laughter, tears, music, human emotion, memory, and recovery and rehabilitation are all interwoven into one grand thought process. Thank you for listening.